Hour number 2 of the nation. Let's jump right into the text. Says, if we're being 100% fair, who gets the blame when things are going bad generally? If he gets the blame, got to give Jerry Jones the credit going full gambler mode. Second goes to getting healthy with Revel and the O-line and DeMarvin and Overshown. That is from Nick in the 979. Not familiar with that area code. Welcome into hour number 2 of the nation at 877-881-1053. How would you answer that question? Who gets the most credit for this Cowboys turnaround? We can go around the room, get your guys' thoughts. Get a lot of good texts in here. 469 just tuning in. So glad Gbag is back. Hope you boys had a great Thanksgiving. That's from Richie in Ennis. Salute to you, sir.
Rich.
Always good to hear from you. 817 it's our longest Tolo. Lucius Tovash is in here. Says Gavin's going to ruin the Cowboys again. You know how they are over there with that who gets credit question. LOL. Yeah, no intent to ruin the Cowboys here. I guess I inspired them by doubting them so heavily. But yeah, I'm confident in the Cowboys.
What a play by me.
Yeah, and I have been speaking things into existence really since training camp. So who knows? But I'm pretty confident that if this team can make the playoffs, and I guess the mathematical chances are still around just 25%. I think they're super dangerous. But how would you guys answer that question? Shotti could be number one. Dak could be number one as he continues to have his best season from my perspective. I mean, against the Chiefs, he became the first quarterback this year to have over 100 yards passing in a single game while being pressured. Wow. He made a big step. But I'm agreeing with that first text that I read you here. I definitely think it's Jerry Jones. And I thought for sure the Jones boys were going to subject us to, we'll just try to draft our way out of this mess. But you went and got Pickens, you went and got Quinnen Williams, and hopefully there's a payoff with Logan Wilson coming as well.
I will go, because I'm with you on a lot of the names that you said, and Jerry certainly deserves credit for this. You make the trade for Quinnen Williams, that was huge. But it's Micah Parsons. If Micah Parsons does not end up having hurt feelings with Jerry Jones, you don't get Quinnen Williams. There is no trade. Micah gets a deal done. He's here. And I don't know what the team looks like. It's probably much of the same. Maybe the record's the same. Maybe they're a game better. Maybe they're a game worse. But the Quinnen Williams ad, to me, is everything. And that has made this team now a legit contender, where he is one of the rare players that not only is great against the run, but he's also going to get you pressure. And every level of this defense has been elevated. Yes, Overshown is a really good linebacker, and he's talented. But you're seeing Logan Wilson, Shamar James, even Kenneth Murray make plays and is playing better with the addition of Quinnen Williams. Osa, different player now. Kenny Clark has played better. So it all goes back to the Micah and Jerry meeting that they had in March, and the handshake agreement, and Micah saying, I didn't know we were negotiating, and whatever happened with him and his agent.
I like
it. If that never happens,
David Millaguda,
this doesn't happen.
Change one thing, change everything.
So I'm going back to Micah here. Thank you, Micah.
Man,
I like that. I like that because Jerry's sort of falling ass backwards into a lot of this stuff. Right, like this wasn't
reactionary moves.
Yes, this wasn't
proactive.
Yes,
thinking ahead.
Well, the George Pickens thing was a big deal.
That's true.
Yes,
move was
absolutely.
Great.
And I wonder,
love for that.
Is that Jerry knocking on somebody's door saying, "Hey, we got to go trade for George Pickens," or is that somebody knocking on Jerry's door? Like,
saying, we really got to get rid of this George Pickens guy.
Oh, I bet you Pittsburgh called Dallas because Dallas has done this before. They've given third and fourth round picks for players before. You look at Trey Lance, looking for Mingo. Like, if I'm a pro personnel director, I'm sitting there, call Dallas. Offer him to Dallas. See what Dallas will do. They're the type of program that will take this guy on. They have a history for this.
Nobody else was willing to give up a 3 or a higher 3, I guess.
Absolutely not.
So, I don't want to take credit away from the Cowboys, but, the George Pickens one's kind of a no-brainer after you didn't draft a good wide receiver. So, a lot of this stuff, you got to be right place, right time. But, to me, it's the front office. You could say health, but... Yeah. That's not something that people do intentionally. They don't get hurt and then plan on getting healthy. It just kind of happens as part of a football season. At 877-881-1053, the 469 says, hate it or love it, but it has to be your guy, Jay Jeezy, who he's saying it's Jerry Jones. When I think of Jay Jeezy, I think of Jason Garrett. I forget who it was that dropped that nickname on it, but I think he was teammates with a guy from the Giants way back in the day. Was that Jesse Palmer or somebody? I forget who glossed Jason Garrett, Jay Jeezy, or informed us of that. Who would you give it to, Brian?
I would say it's Father Time. And I say this in a way, Father Time, because I think that Jerry Jones realizes that he's running out of time. And I think that now he's taken the approach of like, I've got to try and do something different here. I like what Zach said about about Micah Parsons and the agent situation, but Jerry's kind of now realizing that he doesn't have many more of these campaigns left. And so for him to go out and I think his aggressiveness was to make sure that if any way possible that he could turn things around, that he would. So I think looking in the mirror and seeing that Father Time was winning the game, I think that spurred him to do this thing.
Okay, I like it. Even though I feel like it's kind of stubborn, you guys not giving credit to the front office.
I know. It's difficult.
I just don't know.
Like, Micah, Father Time,
but they're
gymnastics.
But they're doing their job. That's the front office's job, is to evaluate players and to evaluate the other teams and try and drum up deals and business and ideas.
And it's hard to give credit to the front office when the Micah thing happens a week before the season and it wasn't planned for, and then you went out and put out the worst defense in the history of your organization for half the season and might have ruined your chance at a playoff.
And it's just tough
as much credit as I want to give you for Quinnen Williams, I can't forget about the entire disaster that week in, week out, we're watching Russell Wilson put up 37 points. You have to claw at home in overtime 7 days before he's getting benched for the final time in his entire career.
It probably sank them. There's a 75% chance they missed the playoffs because of that negligence and that delay in finding resolution to the Micah situation.
It's just, when we talk about Jerry, and we'll have callers in the post-game show, whatever it is, and then it's, well, how much of the day-to-day operations is Jerry actually running? Most of it's now Steven and Will. I just don't know. Like, Jerry, I do believe, signs off on everything. So they'll come to him, and he says, hey, I'm taking in all of the information I can. But how much of the legwork, to give the credit to Jerry, is it? Like, I just don't know how much of it is him, other than now he's brought, hey, this player Quinnen Williams, we'd like him a lot. Whoever that was, whoever pushed for Quinnen Williams, maybe it was Jerry, or it was Steven, or Will, whoever that person was, that's who I'd be praising.
It's fair to say just the front office, I think, because we don't know.
Yeah.
It's probably more Steve than Jerry Bear at this point.
The A17, the front office listens to the head coach on everything, so they've been listening to what Shotti's been saying. They've adopted some of it. I mean, Shotti has to get a lot of credit here.
Absolutely.
I mean, Dak's playing at the height of his powers, and this offense is a real, legit offense. It's not a Kellen Moore offense that'll dominate the division when the division's absolutely disgusting, and then go up against legit defenses and fumble fart around. They've gone toe-to-toe with some really, really good defenses this year, and the offense hasn't missed a beat. Now, part of that is because they go and get a George Pickens for sure, so it's weird to have to divide it all up, but I think Shotti deserves plenty of the credit here.
Absolutely. Maybe the turning point defensively was him going into the meetings, or at least that was the start of the turning point, I believe, Washington week, and saying, hey, maybe we need to go a lot more man here against Jaden Daniels. It's those kind of things. I think the culture that he's built is easy to buy into. It creates enthusiasm, but maybe the most impressive thing about Shotti was his coaching hires that he went out and did.
Yes.
Bringing in Clayton Adams. I don't think a lot of stuff would be working with this offensive line if you didn't have a coach that was good at mitigating and playing to strengths, as well as Clayton Adams has. So for me, number two, and maybe it should be number one, would be Shotti.